Hello, welcome to CFSS TV. I'm Ron Weber. Today we're going to talk about effective resume writing with Bob Johnson and Mohammed Fahim. Mohammed, on resumes, would you recommend that you hire a professional resume writer?
Well, Ron, first, folks, if you see this silly grin on my face, we have been having a lot of fun in the studio today. So if you think that I'm chuckling and looking silly, that's the reason. I mean, these guys have been telling me so many, jokes this morning. It's crazy. But coming to your point, should we hire a professional resume writer? Ron, let me ask you something. If you were going to go out on a date with somebody, and you really are serious about that girl, would you have someone write a script for you for that date?
If they're more successful than I am.
If they are more successful than you are, okay. But who knows more about yourself than you do?
No one.
Okay. In today's world, folks, with this applicant tracking systems coming in that we have covered in previous segments, writing your own resume is going to be extremely important. Please don't go with a professional resume writer if you can avoid it. If you don't know how to write, yeah, come and talk to us. We could probably help you on how to write a good resume. But as far as a professional resume writers, I'm sorry, that's old school, guys. So if you are a professional resume writer who's trying to make their living writing resumes, sorry, it's not for today's world. Every resume has to be targeted to a job. So how many times can you go back to that professional resume writer to rewrite your resume?
It will cost a fortune.
It'll cost a fortune. The average cost of a resume, if you look at it, starts around $300, goes up to $1,500 for one resume, written by so-called professional resume writers. So in today's world, my recommendation, learn about yourself, learn to write things yourself, get some help from somebody who can guide you how to write a resume correctly, and make sure that there are no typos and spelling mistakes and all of that. Strong recommendation, no professional resume writers.
Great.
So how are today's resumes different from what we wrote years ago?
Oh, there's a tremendous difference, Bob. There's a tremendous difference. Number one, the traditional way of writing a resume was what? You had a chronological resume.
Right.
You had a functional resume, and you had a combination resume. Today's resumes are supposed to be the electronic resume.
Okay.
And when we talk about the electronic resume, when was the last time that you went and submitted a resume to someone, personally?
Years ago.
Years ago, right?
Yes.
Not recently. How about you, Ron? I mean,
Many years ago, yes.
those days are gone, folks.
Right.
So you have to understand that when you are going to be writing a resume, a human being is not going to look at it in the first phase of when you apply for the job.
Why is that? Why is
Computers
the
are
human being
coming
gonna be
in.
there?
Computers are coming in. That's where the applicant tracking systems are coming in. So when you submit your resume, online there are different rules that are kicking into place. And the sad thing is that most people have not been told about these new rules.
Okay.
So the employers are adopting these new technologies in order to, minimize their costs of hiring and recruiting people. And they're not telling you, the folks out there, as to what the new rules are. So if you write resumes the old way, and then you send it out, I've had people come to me in our seminars and say, I've sent out 400 resumes. I have not received any response. There's a black hole out there. Yeah, there is a black hole. The rules of the game have changed, and nobody bothered to tell the players about it.
So with that in mind, what does it take to get an interview through the applicant tracking system?
Well, you have to first understand what an applicant tracking system is, and I would strongly recommend that you go back and watch the segment on how to master applicant tracking systems. Go to our website, www.cfss.us. Check out the applicant tracking systems tab on that. We have got a lot of information that you can read and you can download. Sign up for one of our free seminars. Come and learn and listen as to what makes the resume go through the applicant tracking system.
Okay, so are we supposed to use keywords in a resume, or?
Well, that's the magic, isn't it? Everybody says, oh, you got to use keywords, without telling you what keywords are.
Right, right.
Okay. Have you heard of in search engine optimization and search engine marketing? Have you heard of those terms? SEO
Oh, yes.
And SEM. What is that? What is your understanding of that?
Well, you Google a term and then somehow the information shows up
Okay, magic,
on your screen.
right?
Yes.
Okay, magic.
I don't know how it happens, but it does.
What happens is these are called as meta tags or keywords in the description of the site in the back, and there's lots of technology involved in that as to how that thing comes up. But basically, the same kind of logic is being used by the applicant tracking systems.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so when an employer puts in a job ad in their applicant tracking system, they have identified certain skills which are going to be critical for that particular job. And the skills that an employer has identified for a particular job are most likely going to be the keywords that the system is looking for. So whether you have those skills or not. So it's not magic mushrooms. Keywords are going to be different for every job that you're going to be applying for.
Okay.
And now here comes the other side of the equation. It is not just the number of keywords. So they're looking for two things: keyword density, how many times a keyword has been used
In your resume.
in your resume. There is a gentleman going around in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, which I was told by a few people who attended one of our seminars. His recommendation is you take the entire job description, copy and paste it on your resume, change the color of the font to white so it doesn't print out. Wow, and and the system would catch everything that is there the employer is asking for. Boom, you're in. I'm so sorry, folks, that does not work. Okay. Here's the latest skinny on that. The system is looking for keyword density. If you are using more than I think it is 3 to 4% of keywords from the job description, the system flags you as you are trying to game the system.
Okay.
Okay, so you need to identify the keywords, but you have to be very careful as to how you are using those keywords. Now you can repeat those words as often as possible, and that is where the density part comes in. Now the other thing that is important is that looking for keyword relevance. So if you use a keyword without giving any context to the use of that word, the system is smart enough to recognize that you're trying to game it.
Right.
So you can't just throw in keywords. You're not going to be successful. Again, I mean, my strong recommendation, go to our website, look at some of this information that we have collected for you. And the website basically is free for most people, guys. There is a registered user tab on the website where you can get more information, more in-depth information on a regular basis. But otherwise, just go in and check out some of this information. It is www.cfss.us.
Mohammed, what should the format of the resume look like? What type of punctuation should we have in here? What kind of margin should we have?
Okay, I'm so glad you're asking those questions, guys, because here's again, this is where one of the black holes is coming in. For the applicant tracking systems now, your resume has to be plain vanilla, period.
Okay.
Okay, there should be no bullets, there should be no graphics, there should be no indents, everything should be flush left. There should be no big lines under your name and your contact information. Those things are a no-no for the applicant tracking systems. There are a few others, like there should be a 1-inch margin on all sides. Some applicant tracking systems are taking your information and they're reformatting them, but why give them that opportunity or that chance to kind of mess up things that you can set up yourself to begin with?
So the question I have is, well, what do we do with all the content? How do we put that together?
Okay, again, a very wonderful question, Bob. Comes time and again in our presentations. People come in and they bring their resumes. Here's what I love doing, and I'm kind of going back to the seminar again. When you come in, I ask people, how many of you got your resumes with you? And about 80% of the people will bring out their resumes. I said, okay, please, can you stand up? So they stand up and they show their resume. I said, I want you to do something now. Put that on your seat and your chair and sit on it. and they start laughing. First off, I want to break the ice in there. I mean, you're so tense, you don't have a job, and you're coming in, and you're thinking, man, I got to learn things. But what good is that resume if it has not done its job, right?
Right.
And the job of the resume is to get you the interview. So if you have this wonderfully written resume by a so-called no, not the judge. I'm not going to use
expert.
I'm not going to use that terminology that is current out there, so-called judges. No, it's okay. So-called resume writing expert, right? What good is it if it has not done its job? So, content-wise, really, I don't care as an employer. Think about it. If you are an employer and you are planning on hiring someone, and someone comes in with this huge resume of their day-to-day jobs, did this, achieved this. I don't care, man. Show me in your previous job or jobs what kind of problems the employer was facing. What was the reason for your existence in that job? So what kind of problems, what kind of actions did you take? What was the result of that action? And what skills did you use to achieve those results? And now that's where the importance of keywords and skills comes in. Right. And by the way, on LinkedIn now, they have got a new segment altogether for the employer side where they're looking at your skills to see if your skills match the skills required by the employer. And that is there with every other applicant tracking system. So we call it the PARS format, P-A-R-S, problems, actions, results, and skills. That should be the gist of your resume. Please don't go on and on about talking about what your daily, job duties were. Your duties may be different in my shop, but the challenges that I'm facing, customer service, on-time response to customers, all of those things are still going to be the same, right? So you need to kind of come up with, say, okay, Mr. Employer, in my previous job, my employer had these kinds of challenges. This is how I stepped up. This is how I did something individually or as part of a team. That will go a long way towards getting that interview for you.
Thank you, Mohammed. That was very informative. Thank you for watching CFSS TV. I'm Ron Weber with Mohammed Fahim and Bob Johnson.